The success of invasive species is often facilitated by human activities and habitat perpetuation. This is often either due to the fact that invasive species are better able to tolerate the changes that occur, or due to the fact that anthropologically driven changes provide resources for the invader that are useful. A study conducted by Edna Gonzalez-Bernard, Matthew Greenleaf, Gregory P. Brown, and Richard Shine has investigated the interactions between grazing activities and its ability to facilitate the spread of the invasive cane toad, Rhinella marina, to tropical Australia. It is said that grazing activities may be facilitating the spread by providing year-round access to resources that would otherwise be seasonal. In the experiment, the cane toad's use of cowpats, species piles, in the field was quantified and experimental trials were conducted to assess the potential role of cowpats as sources of prey, water, and warmth for the toad. The study focuses mainly on a large underworm originally from South and Central America, which was introduced to Australia in 1935 and has since spread across a great proportion of the country. Habitat changes created by the livestock and grazing industry and the provision of additional water has facilitated the rapid dispersal of the species. The paper examines additional habitat modifications due to livestock production, cow feces, which are extensively scattered across the landscape. Observations at a study site in tropical Australia showed that toads often aggregated on and near cowpats, which was suggested that the invasive species were somehow benefiting from the presence of the fecal pile. The scientists conducted research to quantify the toad's use of cowpats. Cane toads were studied on the floodplain of the Adelaide River, 60 kilometres east of Darwin City in the Australian wet dry tropics. High temperatures year-round are experienced in the area with a mean daily temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius, and precipitation concentrated in a 4-month wet season between December and March. The majority of the study was carried out on Beatrice Hill Farm, a property used for grazing of Brahman cattle and buffalo. Managed paddocks of pasture grasses on the relatively open floodplains with patches of eucalyptus and monsoon forest dominated the property. Cane toads were common on the landscape, having reached the site 6 years before the study. During the dry season of September 2010, 11 transects were surveyed, each measuring 100 metres long and 2 metres wide, all in open pasture where cattle had been present over a 3-night period. Field studies were completed to survey the cane toad distribution relative to cowpats, the effects of cowpats on toad hydrotic balance, and the effects of cowpats on toad feeding rates. For each toad located inside the transect, body temperature, posture, and distance to nearest cowpat within the transect was measured. The linear dimensions of each cowpat was also recorded along with the surface temperature of each one to measure the thermal environment available to the toad. In relation to toad distribution relative to cowpats, the results showed that there were 26 recorded toads and 117 cowpats in the 11,200 by 200 metre square survey area. Based upon the mean size of cowpats, an average of 0.41% of the ground was covered by cowpats. It was found that despite the low availability, 17 of the 26 toads were sitting on cowpats. It was therefore concluded that they were more often than not on one by chance. As seen in Figure 1, the results also showed that the mean body temperature of the toads on cowpats was almost identical to those not. The mean temperature of cowpat surfaces was similar to those of adjacent ground surfaces. Most models of the effects of cowpats on toad hydraulic balances, as seen in Figure 2, showed only minor changes in mass over a 12-hour experimental period. Most models were shown to be losing water rather than gaining. Live grass was found to provide the best buffer to moisture loss, followed by fresh dung. Models on older cowpats lost more water than those on soil desiccated even faster. As showed by Figure 3, the results also showed that the effects of cowpats on toad feeding rates was major. The presence of the artificial cowpat in the experiment increased the cane toad feeding rate, with the presence resulting in toads consuming more dung beetles and overall greater mass of prey. Overall, it was found from the study that the cane toad exhibits highly flexible behaviour which has allowed it to effectively utilise the abundant presence of cowpats. This has allowed the toad to colonise the majority of Australia, as it has an ability to derive multiple benefits from the material. Cowpats were found to provide nutritional, hydraulic and thermal benefits to the toad. This therefore means that the outcomes of the grazing industry have been a significant element in the colonizing success of the cane toad.